Welcome to the Raven Space on YouTube. My name is Jason, and this is Raven Space Daily, where we talk about the Baltimore Ravens every single weekday. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Please subscribe to the Raven Space on YouTube for the best content on the internet, and a special shout out to our Patreon subscribers because they're the best. Before we hop into the topics, I first want to say thank you guys so much for watching. Please check out all our other videos. We try to post at least 2 videos a day, and there's different shows. We got Mailbags on Mondays. We got the hype video on Friday. Today, we released a Raven Space breakdown where we broke down Jimmy Smith's interception for a touchdown. So check all that good stuff out. And now let's hop right into the show, and we're going to talk about the topics for the day. We're going to talk about Flacco being back at practice. We're going to talk about the trade deadline and the Ravens not making any moves. We're going to talk about Derek Mason in trouble with the law. We're going to do the mailbag question of the day, which is my favorite. And we're also going to do the comment of the day from you guys. So let's hop right into it. The first topic is that Joe Flacco practiced today on Wednesday, and he will start against the Titans on Sunday. And it's an exciting thing simply because I like Joe Flacco, right? I know now that he's not elite, but I like him. I think he can throw the ball far and with accuracy when he really is on. And so I'm happy that he's back because I think this next game is one of the biggest games of the season. I mean, just super. It's a very, very big game. You're trying to keep pace in the AFC where all the teams are 500 just like you, right? You also have a bye week next week. So if you win this, then you get a bye week, and John Harbaugh is like 10-1 off of bye weeks. So those are, hopefully those are 2 wins. And I would start to change my tune. Right now, I have the Ravens on the outside looking in. If they win these next 2 games, you start having to think, hey, at 6-4, you're at 6-4, and you still have to play the Browns, which is a win, and the Bengals, which hopefully is a win. You do have to play the Steelers one more time, but the Steelers are a game that the Ravens can win, the Steelers can win. Even if the Ravens are bad one year and the Steelers are good one year, they still split. So I think if we win these next 2 games, we're back in business, and I'm excited about that. Joe Flacco just said about it today. If he was in Little League or in high school, that he'd have took that hit, went to the sideline to collect himself, and he'd have came back in to play defense. So, to him, it's not a big deal. It looked like a big deal to me, but to him it wasn't. To the NFL it wasn't. So we're on to the next one. Joe Flacco will be playing against the Titans, and he is back at practice. So all good in the hood. We're going to go to the next topic, which talks about the Ravens not making any moves at the trade deadline. I have seen a lot of talk and speculation about this from ESPN and other places like that. Do I think they should have made a trade? Yes, I would have loved to have Dwayne Brown. The Seahawks got better because they got Dwayne Brown, and so we know he was up for a trade. I would have loved to have Dwayne Brown. Now the Texans are in the AFC with the Ravens, so that probably wouldn't have happened. But still, I would have loved to see that happen. There's other offensive linemen around the league. I would love to see a trade for one of them. The issue is that the Ravens don't really have any trade bait, right? You guys help me out in the comments below. Who do you trade? And if you trade somebody, are other teams going to want them? So, because when you look at defense, all the young players that you have, you want to keep those young players, right? Now, the Tyus Bowsers of the world, you just drafted them, of course, so you want to keep them. The issue that the Ravens have on defense, particularly, is that either you're a great player, so you're all the way up here, or you're an average player, but not average, a new player, right? So you're new or you're great. So you can't trade either of these groups. You can only trade the mid-tier group. And Ravens don't really have any of that on defense. The issue with the offense is that, that's all the Ravens have, right? No one's performing well. And you can't go to a team and offer Brashard Perriman and expect them to jump. They'll look at you like, okay, well, anyone else? I know this guy who does the Raven space. We'll go get him. He can catch better than Perriman can. So, I mean, it's nothing to trade. So that's the hard part for Ozzie. I wish they could have made something happen, but I don't even know who you would trade and get something for. Maybe a Terrence West, but he's injured. I just don't, all the players that you would want to trade are bad. And you don't have any middle tier players. For example, you have a Garoppolo, right? the Patriots aren't using Garoppolo. They weren't going to get to sign him after this year, so they traded him, right? So he's a mid-tier player right now. Again, Dwayne Brown, not a mid-tier player, he's a very good player, but because of his holdout, he drops to the mid-tier. And so stuff like that the Ravens don't have. We either have very, very good players, Eric Weddle, Tony Jefferson, Jimmy Smith, Brandon Carr, Terrell Suggs, or we have young players, Humphrey, Tyus, and so you can't trade those players because you want to develop them as well. So it's hard. I think that I would like to have seen a trade, but I understand that it's hard to trade in the NFL, and really the Ravens don't have any trade bait. We're going to move on to the third topic, and it talks about something sad. We're not going to do this long, but I thought it would be, it's my job to let you guys know this stuff. Former Ravens receiver Derek Mason was charged with felony assault. Again, super sad, and I don't want to gloss over that assault is terrible. Domestic assault is terrible, and it's just a sad thing. But let's go to the football side of it. Derek Mason, if you young cats don't know, was a part of the Ravens before Anquan, before Steve Smith, and he was a productive player. He went up for the Hall of Fame recently, so he's eligible now, and he was, pushed, and people have his name out there. He was on the big list that are eligible, but with the felony domestic assault, what the NFL is going through right now, especially with players like Ray Rice, you got players like Greg Hardy, Adrian Peterson was into some stuff a little while ago. It's a bad look, right? And I guarantee you, there's someone out there somewhere, if Mason gets into the Hall of Fame this year, is going to look at this and say, whoa, right? That's not cool. The NFL says they're against it, but then he gets in the Hall of Fame. So it's going to hurt his Hall of Fame chances, which sucks for him in his professional career. But again, what he did was terrible. So we're going to move on. Like I said, I'm not going to hold on this for a long time because I really don't enjoy talking about stuff like this. But it is what it happened. If you guys want more news, if you think I didn't do a good job, please go look at ESPN. It is up there. You can get all the details. I just want to give you guys the information so you guys can know. So we're going to move on to the mailbag question of the day. Hopefully to heighten our spirits. And the mailbag is sponsored by the Raven Space Patreon, and our patrons, they are the people who support the show. You see their names at the end of every show because they are great. They help support us. Again, so if you want to be a part of the Raven Space community, we're about to start having some special stuff roll out. So I'm telling you guys, if you're a part of the Patreon, congratulations, because we're about to get better at that. So now we're going to move on to the question. And this question comes from Ivan. And Ivan asks, now that Collins is performing, do you think the Ravens might sign an offensive lineman or draft one? And I thought this was a good question, Ivan, because it does make a difference, Alex Collins, right? Because now, in my head, right, I could have the eye test, right? I know Alex Collins is going to be somewhat productive, right, in his future. He will always be a guy who runs forward and gets yards, right? Even Marshawn Lynch in his old age, now Marshawn Lynch is a special beast, but even in his old age, he can still fall forward, right? Adrian Peterson, even though he really doesn't have it anymore, in my opinion, he still will fall forward, right? And you don't want a running back like we have, like Terrence West doesn't always fall forward, right? And I'm a little worried that the Ravens will mess this up, but hopefully they sign Alex Collins to a long-term deal, and then we go get a offensive lineman. To be honest, next year the Ravens are only one offensive lineman away from being a great offensive line, because you have to look at it like this. At left tackle, you have Ronnie Stanley, who's playing awesome. Left guard is kind of in the air. I know you have Alex Lewis. I'm not really a fan of Alex Lewis, to be 100% honest. So I can, here I can take it or leave it. At center, you have Ryan Jensen, who's been playing amazing. Ryan Jensen gets some love and some shout out. He's been one of the top centers in the league, so that's great, right? And then you have, of course, Marciano coming back, who I'm sure will be good, right? He's usually great, but off his injury, he'll be nothing less than good. So right there, you have three pieces, right, of your offensive line that are going to be very good. If you get a right tackle, I mean, a good right tackle. Let's say if the Ravens would have got Dwayne Brown from the Texans, wow, your offensive line is awesome next year, right? It's like spectacular. So I think we will sign one, not draft one, and I think it makes a difference. And with a good offensive line and Alex Collins, we'll be a force. So I'm excited to see what happens next year. Now we're gonna go to the comment of the day, and again, the comment of the day and the mailbag question of the day. You guys, it's how you be part of the show. You guys can talk about each other's questions, comment on each other's questions, comment on each other's comments. It's just a community. That's what we're here for. So put your comments and your questions down below in the comment section, and I'll answer them on the show. And this one comes from Makaba, and he says, perfect breakdown of the Alonso hit. I've been arguing the exact point. Forward momentum does not make you lower your shoulder. Just happy Flacco's okay. Not elite, but okay. So thank you so much for the comment, Merkaba. To be honest, I kind of think the not elite part was a little bit of a low blow. You know, the man just got a concussion. You know, give him a week, right? But I think it's a perfect point. Forward momentum does not mean you lower your shoulder, and that's just the honest, right? We've all had forward momentum, been running or something, you know, whatever. If you played football, you know that lowering your shoulder is an action that you take, right? And he could have pulled up, and that's just the truth. He might have still hit him hard, but if you hit somebody hard with your body, it's a lesser hit than you hit him hard with your shoulder. So, and that is the show for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please come back tomorrow. We still have great content for you guys. Also, check out all the other videos. They're awesome. Subscribe, like, share, comment, do your thing. Thank you guys so much, and go Ravens.